Alright, so if you look now at page 17, so we will change direction for a little bit. Up until the last class we've been focusing on linear equations, but now we're going to look at quadratic equations. Quadratic equation is an equation like this. Yeah. Although I do have to say one thing about one of these constants. It's important to say a is not 0. Because if a was 0, you wouldn't really have a quadratic, would you? What would you have? Linear. Now, how do quadratics come about? Well, you've kind of seen already how they can come about. So for example, if you have x plus 1, example here, if you have x plus 1 times x plus 2, so x times x is x squared, x times 2 is 2x, 1 times x is 1x, or just x, and then 1 times 2 plus 2. So you get x squared plus 3x plus 2. So in other words, what I'm trying to show you here is when you multiply a linear by a linear, you get a quadratic. And what is the verb that describes going from here down to here?
Expand.
Expand, yeah. Oh yeah, is your mind blown with all of this? Right, okay. So, can you write this down? Because when I go to a new page, we'll lose all of this. Better than PS4. Okay, do you all have that taken down now? Well, is that, no, it doesn't look like a yes.
Are we going to use more than 53?
Say again?
Are we going to use more than 53?
Not today.
Teacher,
Another class, but not today.
the semester is that x plus 7.
Sorry if you can't see it, that's a 2, if that's unclear, sorry. Yes. Okay. So now, what about the opposite? What if we start here? What about if we start here and we want to go back to the two linear terms? Does anybody know the verb that describes that?
Yeah, factorization.
Yes. The verb would be factorize. So what we're going to look at now is how to factorize. Okay, so I'm going to go to a new page now. So first example. I want to factorize this. I'm sure a good few of you remember, oh well, no. I'm sure some of you remember how to do this from school. What you do first is you write down your two brackets. Oh, by the way, I know different schools, maybe you've seen different techniques on how to do that, that's fine. Okay?
Why the 6?
Yeah, so what we'll do is, the process is, put the x down both first. Now what's nice about this one is, because they're both positive, it means both the signs here will be positive as well. So that's great. That makes your life a lot easier. So what you're looking for is two numbers, one here and one here. And what you need to have is that the numbers, they must multiply to make 30 and add to make 11. So when we think about numbers that multiply to make 30, what are they?
5 and 6.
1 and 30 and 5 and 6. There is no way I can make 1 and 30 add to 11, but you can see here 5 plus 6 will make the 11. So that means you got a 5 here and you got a 6 here, and then it's finished. Okay, so write that example down, please. And just to be clear, this one here is multiply and this one here is add. Also, there's another thing that's making this easy. What's that? Does anybody know? No, you see the a here? What's the a equal to? Yeah, the a is equal to 1. So because of this, and because these are both positive, this is probably the easiest type of example to do.
So we can also find it with the calculator we got, yeah?
Yeah, but the problem is you have to, if I ask you to factorize, then you have to work backwards to write it in those brackets.
Oh, yeah.
But using the calculator too much, you know, give you brain damage. It's not good. It's like using your car too much to get to places, you know?
Yeah. Very-
Yep, you'll get a big belly that way. All right. Can I go to next page? Yep, okay. Okay, I'm going now. Next example. So next example, I'm going to do one from number 2. And the only really difference here is with the minus sign, so just to be careful. So example 2. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 35. Oops. Now, you need to think carefully here. You need, wait. You need to choose the signs first. So we need two signs that multiply to make a negative. So what signs could multiply?
Minus and plus.
Minus and a plus, or of course a plus and a minus. So because of this here, it tells me the signs must be different. So one is a positive and one is a negative. By the way, because this is a negative here, which does that make the bigger number? The positive or the negative? Yeah. So because there's a negative here, you need the minus to be on the big number. So I'll just write minus on the bigger number. Okay, so like before, we need two numbers. Now this is where you have to be careful. That multiply to make 35 and add to make 2. But there's a sign in there as well, okay? You want to make them, yeah, so we're happy that it's going to be 5 and 7, but we need to choose the signs correctly.
Minus 7 and 5.
Yeah, minus 7 and plus 5.
So is it,
Yeah,
if we multiply it will be minus 35 or 35?
here in this situation?
No, yeah, and then
Oh, here. Yeah, well, I don't know what way you would like to write it. I would like to say minus 35 and minus 2. And this is multiply and this is add. And the little hint I'm giving you is that one should be positive, one should be negative, and the minus should be on the bigger number. Okay, next example now. Quick, come on. So in my next example, I'm going to make it a little bit different by putting an A in front. And this actually makes it a bit more annoying to do because now you have to consider the A as well as these two numbers here. So, for example, example 3, 15x squared plus 38x plus 24. Now, good news is that you've got a positive here and a positive here, so that's great. At least you know you've got positives here. And you've got an x and you've got an x. But here's the bad news. Because of the 15 here, it means you now have to consider two numbers in the front as well as two numbers in the back. So there's a number here and a number here, as well as the still original two numbers to go at the back. And how does that change the situation? Well, what you need is the two numbers in the front must multiply to make 15. The two numbers at the back must multiply to make 24. And then what you can do is you can say the outer piece plus the inner piece, that must make 38. So let me put some numbers in. They'll be the wrong numbers, but I'll just show you how this works. So don't write these numbers in. I'll just leave them blank, okay? So what two numbers could multiply to make 15? 3 and 5. And what two numbers could multiply to make 24?
6 and 4.
6 and 4. So 3 times 5, does that make 15? Yes. 6 times 4, does that make 24?
Yeah.
Well, we know it does because that's the numbers we chose. The key thing is choosing the numbers to make 38 in the middle. So 3 times 4? 12. And then 6 times 5?
20.
30. 30 and 12?
That's 42.
42. So it doesn't make 38. We're a little bit too big. So we'll remove these numbers and we'll try and change them to make the result a bit smaller.
3 and 5 won't change.
Well, it could be 15 and 1.
Yeah.
So let's leave 3 and 5 there. What did we go for? 6 and 4, didn't we? Is there anything else we could try?
Yeah, 7 and
7,
8 and 4.
8 and 4.
Sorry, no. 7
8 and 3. What about if I put the 8 here and the 3 here? What would that make? 24 and 15. That doesn't do it, does it? 24 and 15.
39.
Not quite. We need 38.
Yeah.
So close, but yet so far. We try 4 and 6. Uh-oh. What did I...
5
That's there. Okay. So that's 20 and 18?
Yeah.
38. So that's it there.
So it's just this.
I more think of it like a Sudoku puzzle, you know, to figure out the numbers. But to answer your question, more or less, yes.
What if it was a big number with the x, like 208?
Lol.
That's a disaster.
That wouldn't happen in the exam. They wouldn't give you something like that.
It just came up.
I think worst case is like what I have here, where they're all 2 digits. You know? This really is kind of maximum difficulty for this type. Although there's still one thing I could do to make this different.
Yes.
What?
AB plus B squared.
No. I mean, how can I make this a little bit more difficult?
Minus.
Minus.
Yeah.
Which will be our last example. So write this down. We'll do one more.
Sir, but there is an easier formula to compute the
Oh yeah, I know this. Yeah, I know this. We'll do that shortly.
There's computing the square. I think it's the hardest.
Yep. Oh, that's the hardest? Yeah, that can be tricky. No, oh dear. Maybe this time. Okay, can I do the next example now?
Yeah.
Yep, all right. Example 4, our last example. 12x squared minus 11x minus 15. Okay, so what signs do I need?
A plus and minus.
A plus and a minus. And the
Bigger
numbers, yeah, it needs to be negative, so you need to make the bigger number be the negative number. Although because you have the numbers in the front, it's not clear which way around to put that just yet. But anyways, let's see what we can come up with. So a number here, 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 and here. So don't write my numbers down because I'm going to try a couple here. So 12 could be, for example, 4 and 3. And 15 could be 5 and 3. This might be promising. So 12, yeah, okay,
No,
that's...
sir.
Wait, I said might be. Minus 12 plus 15. No good. I have to at least have it the other way. But I don't even think this will work because... Wait a second. Maybe it will. This is minus 20 plus 9. Oh, yeah. 4x plus 3. What was that? That was my talent. Yeah, so sometimes you can get lucky on your first go.
But you already said that the minus should be the bigger number.
But you see, the problem is because you have numbers in front, in this situation, it's maybe not as clear. Yeah.
Teacher, what numbers we have to collect to get 11?
The outer numbers plus the inner numbers. So you do this times this plus this times this. Outer plus inner. Okay, write that example down, please.
Minus 20 plus 6 equals 11.
It's going to be minus 20 plus 9.
Plus 9.
Yes. We temporarily forgot 3 times 3, yes? Okay. So, how many to give you? One from each? No way.
That's
Two from each.
We have none.
Two from each.
Monday, lots of work.
Monday, maths fun day. 2 or 3. I'll tell you what. I'll give you 3, 3, 2, and 2. Okay? So, you can do BCD, BCD, BC, BC. I'm too kind.